Okay, so we're trying 3 for 3 tonight as far as tackle talks are concerned. Still got my tee, talking a million miles an hour because I'm pumped for 23. Big stuff in the works. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and follow along with the Musky stuff and all the different adventures with cool people that I have, please consider doing so. I would greatly appreciate it, and the people I work with would as well. Yeah, so tonight, well, part 3 of tonight, I invited some guides and people that I fish with, people that probably know more about musky fishing than I do, to give me a rundown of their top 3 baits or their most successful baits or the things that they're looking forward to most. I've had several guys take me up on this, and I cannot tell them how much I appreciate what they're doing. So we're going to start things off with Glenn from 54 Bust. Dude is just an absolute stick when it comes to catching muskies up in Canada. He does awesome stuff. I'm sure you've watched his things. Dude is just running a phenomenal program with 54 Bust. So here are his baits for 23 that he is pumped for.
Hey everybody, my buddy Matt asked me if I would share with you guys my top 3 best lures from 2022. Anybody who's followed me at 54 Bust has seen my top 5 lure video of the year, but for those of you who haven't, I'll kind of recap. And just for some context, I'm up in northwestern Ontario, just outside of Eagle Lake, Ontario, and I fish Eagle Lake, Cedar Lake are 2 of the most popular lakes in the area, just for some context. But coming in at number 3, and it's not a blade with no name, we've used that a lot. That was really good. But what it was last year, because we had a lot of weeds, we ended up going to smaller bucktails, or shorter frame, I should say, with single hooks. And we like the double 10 blades. So this one is a 10 millimeter by Dadson. This is actually one of the really rare skullet print ones with the skull print on them that are really collectible. This one I've pretty much abused to it's almost not even usable at times. And the other one we really liked was a 12-9. Over under. David had a lot of success on this one, but what we liked about this is that they were small. We could get them in and out of the weeds, and we had hookup percentage was great on these, and without that extra hook dangling down, they run a lot more weedless than any of the bigger conventional bucktails. Coming in at number 2 was arguably one of my favorite lures of the year. It was the Topline Baits dipstick. I got one of the very first ones from Adam over at Topline, and on opening day, I put a really nice tiger in the boat on this particular one. This one caught a ton of fish for me over the years. I could use it around rocks, weeds, drop-offs. It just has that really cool dive and rise kind of jerk beat style action. Topline Baits dipstick. Coming in at number 1 for us last year, and I put it at number 1 because David had a ton of success on it as well. We put more fish in the boat on this one style of lure than any other, and it's the Drop Tine Tackle Growler. It's a small, unassuming little spinner bait, single hook. That's how we like them up here. You can get them in and out of the weeds easily. You can use this around timber. It's got the small little bell rattle on it. We like that. Single blade, thumps like mad in the water. It punches way beyond its weight class. And if you guys are coming up to Canada, you got to have a growler from Drop Tine Tackle.
All right, thanks a bunch to Glenn. Really appreciate having him on. Next dude is Taylor Flannery from Musky Guarantee Guide Service. Yeah, I know, bold statement. But I fished with him this summer, and you know, turns out he wasn't a liar. So we caught some fish together. It was an absolute blast in the boat. The dude is just an absolute hammer. So here's Taylor's baits that he's excited for. Taylor, take it away.
Taylor Flannery with Musky Guarantee Guide Service. I'm up in northern Wisconsin. How I got together with Matt, we met through social media, came up, fished with me in August of last year, put 2 beautiful fish in the net. He asked me to put together a short clip of what I like to use, top 3 lures. Of course, as a musky fisherman, I could not do that very easily. I did put together a group of lures that I like, and the first group is rubber. I do throw rubber probably 70% of the time. I like to snap aggressive rips, pops, kind of hop in the lure. That seems to get a lot more reaction strikes for me versus your normal pull, pause kind of thing. But the first one is the Chaos Tackle Medusa. This is the mid-size. It'll work from start of season all the way through fall. This one specifically put a 49.5 and a 47 in the boat in the same night. Very good lure, works all the time. Whether it's sunny, overcast, perfect conditions, doesn't matter. This thing will catch fish. Second lure in that group is the Musky Innovations regular Pro Dog. This is the Winnipeg walleye pattern, I believe. This thing puts a ton of fish in the boat. I like the Pro Dog for the flexible harness. It actually, that hop that you get with it, I like a lot more. As you can see, this thing is just absolute torn to shreds hamburger. But very, very good lures to have in the boat. Not too hard on the body, doesn't break equipment throwing these smaller ones. I do throw the bigger sizes once you get closer into the fall or late summer period. But second grouping, Dive and Rise. This is a 9-inch Suic Thriller, unweighted. A lot of people use the weighted version. You can tell it's unweighted. It doesn't have the weight right here, but I use the unweighted. I throw it over top of shallow weeds. You snap this thing down and it turns sideways on the paws, snap it down, turns sideways on the paws. But very, very good bait, been around forever. If you don't have a Suic in your boat, you probably should have one. Very good lure. Second one in that grouping, this is the Pandemonium Tackle SRJ. This thing, you can feel the vibration of that wobble on the way down in the rod tip. And then it's got a very, very, very slow rise coming up, and just a fish magnet. But it has a rubber nose, so that if you're banging on structure, banging on rocks, logs, whatever it may be, you don't chip the front of the lure like on the Suic. You get that big chip there. But this one has the rubber, and it does not do that. But this thing pulls a lot of neutral fish out for me. If I'm not seeing fish, throw this thing on and one will show itself eventually. So very good lure to have, very hard to find, but if you can have one, it is gold. Group, I have topwater. Absolutely love it. Very exciting way to catch fish. If you've never had a fish wake up on a bait and your bait is up like this and it looks like it's surfing, you need to try it. This one is the Lake X Lures Fat Bastard. Perfect profile. I absolutely love it. If I'm throwing a prop style topwater, it's probably this. A lot of people throw a lot of water with this thing and you'll really get it going and spitting the water out. Loud deep pops. But I like to just barely turn that prop, just barely have it going. I seem to do very well in the Northwoods with that. Very important as well is you can see that hook is kind of teed out on the back hook. A lot of times those fish come in and straight behind this bait and will chomp it from that back hook as your a lot of where your hookups are. And if you tee out that hook, you will actually improve your hookup percentage greatly. So I suggest doing that as well. But Lake X Lures, Fat Bastard, topwater. Fourth group is Musky Frenzy 8-9 Stagger. When I do throw bucktails, this is the one I'm throwing. Great bait, catches a lot of fish, good vibration, built well, very, very good bait. When it does get into the fall period, or even a windy day in the summertime, I will put on like the IC 9s or 10s. This one just so happens to be an IC 10. This one did very well for me in the late part of the year. It's actually missing a skirt here. It got just absolutely wrecked towards the end of the season, but very good bait, moves a lot of water. Definitely, if you're throwing bucktails, you should have Musky Frenzy in your boat. So those are my top 4 groups of baits because I could not pick individual baits, but that's what works for me up here, and I hope that helps. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys taking the time to send me a video and get that stuff out there. All right. Next guy on the list is Connor Sorensen from Predator Guide Service. He's going to run down his baits here quick. Cannot tell him how much I appreciate him coming on here to talk about his baits.
Hi everybody, Connor here with Predator Guide Service. Matt has asked me to talk to you about my top 3 lures from last season. Number 1 would be a Rad Dog Deep single blade spinnerbait. Those carried the team. I can't tell you how many fish we caught on them. I caught my biggest fish, which was a 53-incher. Big, beautiful fish. My number 2 would be a 10-inch jake. We throw those from ice out down here in Iowa. The last fish in my boat was in Minnesota in the mid-November on a 10-inch jake on Mille Lacs. And number 3 would be a Medusa or any kind of pull pause rubber. We catch a lot of fish on those. They're easy for clients to use. Biggest one on those last year was, I believe, a 48-incher. I'll have pictures for Matt to show you. Biggest fish on the 10-inch jake would be a 45 or 6-incher. Have to go back and check. That was in April. It was a pre-spawn tank, just big everything. It was a beautiful fish. Good luck out there next season.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Connor. Really appreciate you letting us in on a little bit of your info and the program that you have going on for 23. All right, next guy on the list is an absolute hammer here from Eastern Iowa. Goes by Anthony Yamulkowski. The dude has fished with me several times and rarely leaves any fish for me to catch. So he's going to run down his baits for you all.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Anthony. It was requested of me to do my top 3 baits of the year, 2022, so I've got my 3 baits here. I wanted to talk a little bit about them and give some of my insight on when I threw them and how I was throwing them, patterns and stuff, so let's get right into it. My first bait of the year, 2022, that was really solid for me, super productive. Actually, a new one for me in 2022 was the Ridgway Custom cranks. I had talked to him early that spring, ordered a couple, wanted to try them out, and they put work in my boat this year. Caught a bunch of fish on the 10 and a 9-inch. Size didn't really seem to matter. 9-inch, 10-inch, caught fish on both. Caught tons of fish on both. They're both awesome. Hard to differ other than whatever you have, 9 or 10-inch preference. But these crankbaits cast better than most crankbaits I've ever thrown. Super good late spring when they start to really chomp after that spawn is when I succeeded with this bait the most. So first bait was the Ridgway Custom crank. Second bait I've got here is obviously big blades. You can't go wrong throwing big blades. Early fall to mid fall, even late fall, late spring, summer. Blades are just an all-around great bait. Super versatile. You can reel them fast, slow, pull them, whatever you want. But this is a Ridgway Custom, amazing bucktail. I don't throw much other than Ridgway Custom. I love these baits. He just builds them so nice. Great colors. Contact Josh. He makes amazing bucktails. I love these baits. So my second bait was a Ridgway Custom. And for my last and final bait, this bait has been very productive for me over the last probably 3 years. I'm throwing them a ton more. I have so much confidence in these, and that's the Magnum Bulldog. Any color, and even upsize. I don't throw much under the mag, but mag, pounders, ultra dogs, untouchable for me. Nothing comes close to putting the numbers in my boat like the Magnum Bulldog does. I love these baits, super versatile. You can straight reel them, you can pull paws, bottom crawl them, anything you want. All 3 of those techniques, you can jig them. All those techniques have helped put fish in my boat this year.
Thanks a bunch, Anthony. Looking forward to getting in the boat with you sometime this spring, hopefully pre-spawn, and then hopefully throughout the rest of the season. So it's always a blast. We always catch fish, and we always have a good time. At the next face, may look pretty familiar to you guys, but he's been on the channel before. I've been on his. Brian Scafe is going to run down his baits that he's most pumped for the 23 season.
What's going on, everybody? Brian from AnglingAnarchy here, and my good friend Matt has asked me what were 3 of the musky baits that I used last year that I had really good success on. So we're going to go over those, starting with, let's let the camera focus. Come on, baby. There she goes. This is the Big Mama Bubba from Chaos Tackle. It is a shorter walk the dog bait, so instead of gliding really far back and forth, which I know some people like, this one has a real tight, kind of just almost kind of flops back and forth. It doesn't really, you can make it walk a little bit, but it has a little bit tighter action. It's a little bit different, and I think the fish can hone in on it instead of going back and forth so far. They can really get a beat on the bait, and I had really good success on Eagle Lake, one of those quintessential shield lakes up in Canada with this last year, and I hope that that success continues into this next year. So I'll be using this quite a bit this year as well. The second bait that I had a lot of really good luck with last year is the Lee Lures 8-inch pelagic swim. This is an amazing shallow water lure. I use this a ton when I'm fishing rivers in the springtime when you're up in 2-3 feet of water. This bait works really nice. It's got a nice little side-to-side wobble, tail kick. This bait has put many fish in the boat for me, one of which was a 50.5 incher, just a river giant last year. So this is a really cool bait that I used last year a lot and will continue to use this coming season as well. And last but not least, you couldn't talk about musky lures without throwing in a bucktail. My choice is going to be an Esox Assault EA8 in Killer Corn pattern. This is from Chaos Tackle as well. Killer Corn is far and away, regardless of size of bait, is my favorite color to use just about anywhere. But the 888, again, spring, summer, fall, it is just a go-to. It's a confidence bait for me. So those are my 3 baits, and I hope you enjoyed watching this.
Thanks a bunch to Brian for running down those baits. I cannot tell him how much I appreciate it. Looking forward to crushing some skis with you again, dude, in 23. It's going to be an absolute blast. So that more or less concludes all of the people that I had slated to come on for this tackle talk. I know it's a little bit outside the box, and I realize that I am more or less stealing Glenn's idea from last year. So Glenn, again, I appreciate you letting me borrow your idea. This is, 23 shaping up to be a really good one. Got a lot of fun stuff in the works. I'm excited. Pre-spawn is right around the corner. Talking a million miles an hour. But yeah, I just cannot wait. If you guys want to book a trip with any of those people, any of the first 3 guys or myself, please shoot me a message. I will link everyone's particulars below, so that way you can find them very easily in the description. I wish you all the best in 23. I hope that everyone watching this absolutely crushes a PB, crushes their numbers, crushes whatever goal that they have met. If that's 1 fish or 100 fish, I hope that you guys meet it. I'll see you on the water, I'm sure some of you. And yeah, I just am really looking forward to getting out there. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of you watching. If you'd be so kind, consider subscribing. Thank you to everyone who watches these. Thank you to everyone who helps make these videos possible. Alright, with all that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Good luck in 23.